Hello, hello, Hidden Hermit here. Let's have a look at a Queen of Swords, shall we? So this is the Queen of Swords from the Golden Dawn Ritual Tarot. And at first glance, well, it looks like a Queen of Swords, doesn't it? It's a Queen of Swords. I guess in many ways, the image itself is, I think, quite a lot different to some of the you get quite a lot of soft-looking Queen of Swords in more contemporary decks, and the Golden Dawn Ritual Tarot is what I consider to be a hermetic deck, just like the top deck, just like the Via Tarot, the Tabula Mundi, etc., etc. I think the actual visage of the Queen is a lot different to what you get in some other decks. I mean, she's usually dressed, you know, like a regal lady, whereas this one's armoured. She's ready for battle, and she looks very much like the Queen of Wands in the same deck. In fact, their setup's almost the same, but cats instead of cherubs. I think that's pretty fair. And the other thing that fascinates me about this particular image is that theme of the severed head. It's been suggested that this matriarch has severed the head of the sovereign king, because, you know, when you think about the Queen of Swords in its most popular interpretation, I would suggest that the Queen of Swords signifies that independent woman, you know, that sense of authority, this idea that she doesn't take any shit because she's been through a lot. She's been slighted, harmed, perhaps mistreated, and it's made her the person who she is, and she's embraced that queenie energy, which is a very positive, it's a very Beyonce message, really, isn't it? It's like Beyonce or Peppa Pig, perhaps. Peppa Pig's quite independent. And I think that's some of the positive vibes you get from the Queen of Swords. But she does come with a bit of a brutal undertone, if you ask me. And this is just my opinion. And, you know, you could disregard my opinion, but I've worked with the Queen of Swords a lot. She was one of the first cards that started to follow me. Started to, you know, make sure she always knew that I was aware she was there, until I learned the lesson. That lesson of no bullshit, to be perfectly fair. And I should probably mention some of the other more positive aspects of the Queen of Swords. I mean, she's incredibly perceptive. She is of the sword ilk, if you like. She's very confident, intelligent as well. She has an understanding of the world around her that probably goes a little bit deeper than, you know, your average cups or your average wands, perhaps. She's a smart lady. And yet you do have this brutal undertone, this, I mean, ill-dignified or reversed, and this is a hermetic deck. It doesn't really go with reversals, as illustrated by the rather striking back there. But ill-dignified, you're thinking of cruelty, sly, disappointment, maybe trapped, that opposite of independence, although I don't really, that's not where I drop my anchor when I feel about the reversed Queen of Swords, if you like. She's malicious and deadly, I would say. Yeah. Now the book, the very, very good book that comes with this deck, it's incredibly Kabbalistic, and it goes really deep. There's this absolutely fascinating passage with it concerning the Queen of Swords, and that's the whole reason why I'm doing this video for this particular image. And it goes along the lines of she's wielding her sword above her head. Interestingly, the sword in the top deck's facing the other way. Never mind. And there is this severed head of the sovereign king. This idea that the patriarch has been replaced by a matriarch, which isn't necessarily a good thing. You might think so, but that brutality and violence has been wielded by the woman. And why not? But the interesting passage says, this alludes to the idea that clear insight and accurate understanding are weapons to fend off the illusions of the astral world. think about that for a moment. That is crazy. That is crazy. It kind of, I mean, the Hermetic decks, they are steeped in magical lore, this idea of, you know, cosmic correspondence, but at the same time they are very logical and rational. So this idea that the Queen of Swords is here to you know, allow our intellect, our understanding to grow, but at the same time fend off any mental bullshit. She's there to cut your dreams down in a little bit of a way. This video is becoming a little bit of a downer. I'm a big fan of the Queen of Swords. Let me put that out there. She has some very important lessons. She's exactly the woman you want to have on your side. But I'm just going to repeat that idea. That idea that these clear insight and accurate understanding are the weapons used to fend off the illusions of the astral world. It's insane. It's insane, and I'm going to leave it at that. It's a very striking image. The other thing I really like about this is the green background, and you get green by mixing blue of water and yellow of air, and of course the Queen of Swords is the watery part of air. But the colour schemes in all the Hermetic decks are incredibly important. But I digress. I still want to focus on that cutting out the astral world stuff. But anyway, that is the Queen of Swords from the Golden Dawn Ritual Tarot. Thanks for watching. I hope you cheer up.